We are live. All right, big to everybody. Happy Juneteenth, whatever that is, man. We're still not sure what we're calling this. Dominate your life. Wake up. No one is coming to save you. Real talk for the real world. Suck it up. Be a man. All of that good stuff. We are here. Actually, I think Walter just came on. I just seen him show up from One Day Finish. We're going to talk to him about his business. I don't know if he sells leads or if he's a refinishing company or like refinishing partner / non-franchise or something. Going to spend about 20, 30 minutes with him and finish up the day with kind of touch on, I watched all 4.5 hours of Patrick David with Andrew Tate.
I watched some of that the other day. I haven't been able to finish it yet.
Yeah, and I started watching some with Tristan. And but I haven't. I've only seen the highlights, man. I want to sit down and watch all friggin' 3 hours of Joe Rogan and RFK. I mean, because I've been following RFK for a long time. I was scheduled to be at a dinner with him last December, and I was out of town. A buddy of mine was hosting a big get together, and he was the guest speaker. But Rogan's been offering $100K for some PhD dude to come on and Peter Hortz, whatever his name is, to debate him, and they're going back and forth on Twitter. It's funny as hell, but it's like that, Rogan offered $100,000, and he was talking shit about that not even being a lot of money considering how much money Rogan's got. But then everybody else started throwing money in. I mean, it's a crazy amount now. And then
so the guy they're trying
jumping on it.
The guy they're trying to get on is somebody who is for vaccinations, if I'm correct.
Yeah, for all the vaccines, all the COVID bullshit, all of it, and it's been funny as hell to watch. And then just I don't know if it was today or yesterday, Valuetainment PVD posted an article. I was going to do some screenshots of it, but just the CDC quietly, announced or finally confirmed or something that a huge major increase in the myocarditis. Myocarditis after being getting the COVID shot, which is, I don't know. We'll touch on all of that first. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, let me first click the button. Anthony,
hello,
can you hear
gentlemen.
me? How's it going? Walter, can you hear me?
I can hear you. How's it going, Brian?
Yes. Hey, Brian is the good-looking guy, and Anthony's the dude with glasses.
The guy with the
teeth. Hey, Walter, what's that picture behind you? Is that the real outside world of where are you at, in Vancouver or something?
Vancouver, yeah. Vancouver is Matrix out there. I just had a chance to hear a little bit about your, Joe Rogan experience and how he was talking about COVID bullshit, as you mentioned. And I was like, we're talking the same language already, eh?
Yeah. Man, I got some buddies up in Canada that are like, I don't know. It's like they're ready for a civil war. It's like it's nuts up.
Let me guess. Let me guess. They're coming from my side of the fence in Alberta.
They're all over the place.
Well, over here is like the Texas of the United States.
Oh, okay.
That's because we're all the oil boys and everything, right? So
yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the what was going on over here, and because the reality is there's a separatist movement coming from Alberta to Canada. It's like we produce all the money for majority of Canada, specifically in the east. So Alberta actually want to separate.
And they take it and give it to the guys who aren't working. Hey, where was that?
Correct.
What was that truck thing? God, it was a year ago or something now. But remember the truckers were on strike or something?
Yeah. They went to Ottawa. So everybody from all over Canada, anybody that was kind of sick of the mandates and everything, they all went to Ottawa, and it was crazy. There was like hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people there. Everyone just taking time off work to try and fight the good fight and that sort of thing. So it took place in Ottawa.
They were blaming it on Trump. And a couple of my Canadian buddies were like, "We don't even know who Trump. I mean, we know who Trump is, but it's like nothing was." They were. It was funny as hell. But
so Alberta is trying to secede from Canada. Is that what you're saying?
It's been in talks for years, and I mean it is getting pretty serious. Definitely depending. We're having some new government come into play pretty soon, so it'd be interesting to see kind of like how that takes place with what promises they made and how it's going to affect how everyone feels about everything. But additionally to that, there's oil has come back. Like, we're up to $1.45 Canadian again for oil. So it's like the economy is good. The oil prices are high. You have to pick which one you want. It's like, you want cheap oil in a horrible economy where no one can expand, or do you want to pay $1.60 for a liter and then have an opportunity to like maybe get a job someday?
Oh,
So it's,
I was gonna say a liter versus a gallon. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
wait a minute.
No. What are you talking about here? No. I totally get that. And then on top of that, the oil sands, there's a huge push in specifically in Alberta and Canada to remove oil sands by 2030. So there's a lot of infrastructure being built out for solar and things of that nature. So that's massive, right? Over here right now, there's lots of government incentives for provincial and federal to get as much people as possible to get in the direction of solar, so that we can try and reduce our fossil fuels by 2030. So there's a lot going on over here, man.
And that's the solar is bad. I mean, it's like, and I'm for all of it. Just do it all, but don't try to regulate and get rid of the oil 100%. Just the solar is never going to be enough. The wind is never going to be enough. Nuclear is the way to go.
If they can figure out solar panels on cars, they just released the brand new Prius, and there is a solar panel on the top of the car. And if you leave it outside for like 5 days, it will get a full charge, something like that. But I mean, if you're driving and it's charging the car, that's good. That's amazing. So if they can harness that technology a little bit further, get a little bit better, make it a little bit more efficient, make it a little bit less expensive, the more people that buy EVs. But then I'm not really for EVs as much as the next guy, because lithium, right? With the massive lithium mines where it's just slavery. So it's like, what evil do you want to involve yourself in?
You pick the devil you want to worship. But that's what I had said. I said, man, if they could do solar panels on top of the roof, you go from 200-mile radius, maybe to 250, something, maybe a little bit better.
Or if there was good sun, you would never run out of battery. If you were driving in California and you constantly are getting sun on your car, and they could find a way to trigger that with the alternator where it's like constantly charging the car off of the sun, it could be unlimited. But that's years away.
That's inland from where I'm at. I'm too close to the ocean. We get about 4 hours of sun a day. It starts off with the overcast in the morning, it burns off, and then the overcast comes back from the beach. But hey guys, so let's get busy. Hey Walter, man, I looked you up a little bit, and like I think you had reached out to me a message too. Was like this stuff, politics wise and life wise, and all that. We probably agree on 90% of everything. What we probably aren't going to agree on, and that's okay, is business stuff. I got another guy that's supposed to be on here too, but hey, Walter, first, let's just so I've seen Walter's ads, because you're running a shitload of ads right now on Facebook. So the first ad I seen of yours, it looked like it was a franchise, one day refinishing, partnership, a franchise, but without, the franchise fees, all that stuff. So I just looked at it and read it a little bit, and I just, I kept strolling. But then a couple of days later, a day or two later, I seen, one day refinishing, but the ad was to sell leads to guys. And then I was like, well, shit, is this the same? I know it's the same company, same logo, same word, all of that stuff. Is it, man, was he selling leads, or is he doing this? And I've just spent the last 25, 30 years. My goal is to teach contractors to, I try to kick them out of the nest. I try to raise them, kick them out of the nest, let them do everything on their own. Because there's so many wannabe marketing gurus that take advantage of them. I don't have a unique system. It's just, I don't think business has ever changed since the beginning of cavemen. The same way Jesus sold himself to everybody and had them buy in. That's all business is. It's never going to change. It's just how we show up in front of people. But just hey, tell us your background and what you do for people. I think it's a little bit of both, the selling of the leads and the partnership / not a franchise. You tell me.
Walter, you want to speak on that?
Yeah, whatever you want. You just tell us what it is that you do and stuff. Go ahead.
I'll do a quick introduction. First of all, thank you for hosting us. It's a great opportunity to reach out to some people out there who might struggle with work nowadays. Because as soon as we started working, how we started, we had the traditional business, regular food shop. We would sell different types of flooring as refinish along with refinishing. As soon as we started, as soon as we added refinishing as an option to our list of services, we instantly saw the good opportunity in that very niche. With Refinishing, everything is pretty straightforward. There are not that many options for the design. Either we stain the floor or we keep natural tones with some little tinting. So a lot of stuff like that. But when it comes to the very business acquisition of such things, hardwood finishing, probably close to 90% of the service providers are being represented as independent contractors who just work by themselves, maybe one man plus helper, couple of helpers. That's pretty much it. That means they're not very good with the capacity, with the flow of the jobs, and most of the time they treat it as gigs here and there. What changed? Basically, we added a lot of modern ways of business acquisition, such as professional online presence, reputational management, along with the constant flow of the relevant leads, of course, for this very job. So that's what we started with in Vancouver back in 90. The company has been working since 1991, and we basically, in this case, the refinisher who we started working with, he was in the business since 1991. That's why we can say that the company is also from 1991. Plus, it's good for the marketing purposes too. And thanks to the combination of professional business acquisition with immaculate workmanship, we managed to build a brand that it's international nowadays. We're presented in 4 different countries: States, Canada, Australia, and UK. We keep developing it in the direction when anyone who is interested in this very opportunity, they can ask different terms. That's answering your question regarding franchise or leads or partnership or anything like that.
And
first,
can I?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Do you mind if I chime in on that, Walter?
Well, just to kind of wrap it up, my little pitch here. We tried to sell leads first as one of the first, main things for for any type of business out there. Figured that most of the times the sales and closing approach is not as professional as we would expect it to be. Even though the guys are really good with their labor, they're not really good with the acquisition of that job. So that's what we did. We combine the efforts. We do the business acquisition, and they do the labor. So in the very combination, everyone is winning, and we help each other in that very direction. So now anyone who is entrepreneuring mindset, or someone who is interested in using this very business setup as a franchise, we cannot be called franchise yet, even though my team is looking at that very option nowadays, because based on all of the earnings that we look for the partners, this might be a really good opportunity for people out there to make pretty decent amount of money based on our setup. I invited one of my recent partners who we started working with from, he's in Columbus, Ohio. We started working with him in January. It was like he used to work by himself as for the GC. The guy was making roughly close to $800 per month, mostly through labor. As soon as we started in January, January was like the beginning for him. Plus, it was like fairly slow season. But from I don't mean to brag, of course, but from February to May, we managed to profit for him close to $56,000 in profit after all the expenses, which close to like $15,000 a month, which is definitely sounds like a good opportunity even for a franchise for on our end. About like that, I think he will join us in a bit in case he can. His name is Luis. Oh, here we go. He will join us in a bit in case.
Hey, Luis, if you can.
Yeah, let's mute that for now.
Yeah.
Luis is driving.
Hey,
Luis,
Jacob,
you gotta mute.
Hey, Jacob, what were you going to add to that?
Yeah, no problem. So what I wanted to say, and I totally understand where you're coming from, and we're actually completely on the same page with that. So as Walter said, I'm just going to add on to it because I don't think he explained it as good as it could be explained. When he first started, they were selling leads to companies, and they were reaching out saying, "Hey, we have leads. Let's get you on performance base, maybe $500 a month, $600 a month." What was happening is over time, all the contractors were saying, "Hey, your leads suck. we're not working with you anymore. You can only call 10 or 20 contractors in a city before you lose all your relationships. So Walter got fed up himself with the situation and said, screw that. I'm going to go sell the leads. So he went out in Vancouver and he started closing the deals like crazy, making the money. And then the partner he's working with, Caesar started to take on the leads. But the first phone call that he made to Caesar was, fuck you. Literally, that's what he said. He did not want to work with him. And a week or so later, he reached back out and they made a relationship. Now, Caesar has 6 crews and he doesn't even touch a stander anymore. And he's making 30 grand a month. And he's the guy that does all the work in Vancouver with Walter. Walter then said, you know what, this model works. He then contacted me. I reached out to him in the Edmonton area and we built a relationship since then. Now, the advantage is a lot of contractors, as he said, are fantastic at the work, terrible to marketing. No idea what an SEO is. No idea what PPC is. None of that stuff. And all these guys say, there's no work at Edmonton. I say, really? Because I closed 8 deals last week and I have more work than I know what to do with. And these guys will reach out to me and they'll be like, well, I want to stand for $5 a square foot, nothing less. And I'm like, okay, great. Do you want to sit at home for $5 a square foot? Or do you want to work for me for a month for $350? So what we're doing is we are doing the whole process for the acquisition. I go out as the partner. I go out, sell the deal. I line it up for the contractor. All they have to worry about is doing the work. I take care of the project management. I take care of making sure they get paid. And our system is so that the money that is theirs, we never touch. Our estimates go out with the contractor's name on the top as a partnership with us. The money goes into their hands when the job is done. So it's a great relationship between us. Because I ask guys all the time, I said, how much money are you making right now? Be honest with me. Oh, I'm making about $2 grand a week. I said, let's double it. So these guys are taking a pay cut to work with us, but we're getting them more work than they can get for themselves. So we are not a marketing agency selling leads. We are actually acquiring the physical jobs and having them work under our umbrella. And we're doing this and expanding all across Canada and the United States.
So it sounds like it sounds like you are basically selling the job, developing the project, and then basically handing off a lead that is already closed to partners who. So how do you, just out of curiosity, how are you handling project management? What does that system look like?
For sure. So I mean, I'm the one who acquires the relationships. So when we start in an area for Edmonton, for example, Edmonton's our dummy area right now because we're launching some new systems. I go out, I build all the relationships with all the contractors. I contact them. I take them out for dinner and say, hey, listen, I can get you work guaranteed 2 a week, 3 a week, whatever it is for the next month or whatever that's going to be. And then as soon as that's done, we go through and we line everything up. And then we work with these contractors on a partnership relationship. And that's the project management is done is they are responsible for, we tell them, hey, the quoting is going to be special walnut. It's, if there's any fixes, repairs, it's 2.5, it's 2 1/4, whatever it's going to be. And I make sure that I show up that day or whatever it is, make sure that they're doing the work, all that's taken care of and situated. And the client in the end is happy and is happy to pay the contractor.
So you actually show up on the job?
I will. If I can, I will. Because I mean, in my area in Edmonton, I will. And then all the partners that we build, if it's important to do so, especially for the first 3 or 4 jobs, as we're building that relationship with the contractor, we want to make sure their work is good. We want to make sure the client's happy. We want to make sure that they, show up looking professional. Once that's done and we built that relationship, as Walter has with Caesar, then it becomes like, holy crap, we're very valuable to each other. You're giving me money, you're making me money. It's a great partnership and relationship. And that's what Walter has achieved in Vancouver.
That is an interesting take on the fact that you're actually not just selling leads, you're selling closed deals that are already ready to go.
And what's the difference between what you're doing and it's almost you're just hiring subcontractors and they don't even know you're hiring them. I mean, that's what if I heard anything.
They're well aware. They're well aware.
I mean, but it's the same thing. It's like, what's the difference between hiring a subcontractor and what you're doing? So now, I mean, to me, it just sounds like you're hiring subcontractors. It's like, hey, you guys don't have any work. I've got work. Do you want to go do it? I mean, which is fine if that's what they want.
Not really. Yeah, not really. In our case, we deal with contractors first, right? We talk to them about what they would like to achieve, how many projects they can digest within a week, within a month, what kind of capacity that they're looking at, what kind of rates they're providing to the clients. So we're good on that. We understand that. We're good to go and hunt for the closed jobs for them. That's the only condition. If we close job and then we trade to someone, we're not a flooring shop to do that. We work on behalf of those contractors. We work on behalf of their reputation. Well, it's
Yes.
combining technically. So
Hey, what do you charge? What do you charge to get started on that?
Say it again.
How much does it cost for you to get started on that? Do you do it all up front first? Like you would just, like, if I called you and said, hey, yeah, if you get me some refinishing work in Newport Beach, whatever it is, do you do it all and then you call me up and say, hey, here's the address, go sand that floor, they're going to pay you this much? Or
no.
I
would call you first. Yeah, Adam, thank you for the question. I would call you first and I would confirm with you that you're available. Like in 2 weeks, you have availability, you have a window. You will tell me how much it will take you to do, let's say, about 100 square feet of job that it's pre-finished with aluminum. Okay, I understand. A little bit extra for this, a little bit extra for that. Okay. Only after that, after I understand that I can rely on you as a contractor, I'm good to go and sell the job. Otherwise, I'm screwed, because it's not a problem to sell the job. We rely on the contractors as much as they rely on us, and that's why it's beneficial partnership in this very case. And answering your question regarding how much it would cost, well, I would ask you to do anything for the deposit if you want anything for the deposit, because sometimes contractors, they don't want anything. They say, well, once we're finished, we get paid. Well, up to you. But if you do need the deposit, we try to pull out the deposit from the client, and we negotiate on that. So we do like conditional closing negotiations and conditional closing afterwards.
And something, sorry, Brian, that he missed.
Hey, Louis, if you get to a spot where you want to jump in where there's not a whole bunch of background noise, just look towards something to, like, take the phone away from your ear and look towards the camera, and I'll unmute you.
So sorry, Brian. Just one thing I wanted to say that Walter didn't mention. When we're going to develop these cities for the people that we work with, we call the contractors and say, this is what we want you to work for us. And they say no, or they say yes, or we have a negotiation on that. So they send us a list in advance of all the prices they're going to charge for specific things. So, hey, if it's a pre-finished, if it's site finished, if it's this, if we're doing a stain, if it's oil-based, if it's water-based, then I know, okay, whether I'm going to make 10% of this job or 150%, that is what I'm paying my contractor. They've agreed to that. They're happy with that. And then we negotiate over time based off of lead flow. Okay, great. We said we're going to get you 2 jobs a week, but now we're actually your only supplier of work. You're only working for us. Can we get those rates down, or do we need to give you more money because of XYZ reason? So we negotiate those rates with the contractors in advance. So that's why it's different than subcontracting. We're not telling you, hey, you want to do it for this amount? The only reason that would ever happen or take place is if I have like a big job, or I know I can't win a job without lowballing a little bit. I'll call my contractor that I'm going to put on that job. And usually, to be frank with you, we only like to work with 1 or 2 guys, specifically 1 guy per city. Our end goal is to have 1 guy. And something else I think you'd like, Brian. These guys, a lot of refinishers in my area and in general, it's a dying trade. They're all getting a lot older, and they're doing 1 job a month, or they're doing something to kind of get into semi-retirement. Wouldn't it be amazing if these guys could just buy some machines and hire people and train them and have the work for them? And that's what Caesar did over in Vancouver. He doesn't even touch a sander anymore. He's got 6 crews that he trained. He bought the machines, making 30 grand a month. And there's very few contractors that can comment down below that have all these questions that are making 30 grand a month, right? And we're doing that for them. We facilitated that, right? And that's what we're looking to do in every province and in every state all across the United States. The other thing that's cool is the guys that work for us, and they're going to come work under the umbrella. They're going to be trained or hired on under my management or Walter's management, whoever it would be. The salespeople that work for us are getting a very good percentage of the profit, and it's a part-time job. So sales guys are making good money, contractors making good money, and we're making a little bit on top as well. 30K is net profit, Scott Dennison. 30K is his net profit. That's not sales. That's the money that he's putting in his pocket. Well, and I will make $15,000 net this month. And I started with the company not super long ago, and I've left my house twice. So this is an amazing opportunity for not only people who want to do refinishing, but also salespeople all across the world who want to get involved. And it's a part-time job. Honestly, it is. It's not a full-time job. You get 10, 20, 30 leads a week, really easy to sort through them. So we're giving several people opportunities to feed their families and actually work for something that's good.
Yeah. I mean, all of it I like. I mean, only, and I have to say I like it because I mean that's how we run our. That's how I ran the 3 companies that I sold. Was, just we would have 2 or 3 crews that are on payroll with workman's comp, but then I've always had at minimum 2, but usually somewhere between 2 to 6 crews that are subcontractors. They like you said, they give me their price list, and then I charge if they want to charge $4 a foot, we charge $8 a foot, or $10, or it doesn't matter. They get paid what they're going to get paid. But I've always had so many subcontractors because that's part of our company is bringing them in, training them, and setting them up in their own business eventually so that they can make all the money and not have to work for anyone. I mean, so I can't say that I don't like what you're doing. It's just that the only difference between us is I'm trying to take the guy who's running the sander because that's all he knows how to do. He didn't go to school, and we have all of the training for free online. I don't make any. I actually lose money doing what I do for contractors because we sell
Absolutely.
I teach them the marketing. I teach them how to close. I teach them how to answer the phone. I teach them how to hire the in-house personnel. I teach them how to run the ads to bring in guys and train them and give bonus. I mean, we all of it. Everything that I've done, I give it to them for free and try to get them to do it. And if they need if we do the website and the marketing and Google business profile and Google ads and stuff, they pay like $600 a month, and that goes to the guys who are behind the screens doing it. And then we record all the phone calls, the transcripts. I work with them once a month for free, going, look, man, here's how you answer in the phone. Here's what you should have said. Here's how you do this. You got to build the relationship before, and then we teach them how to do videos. I mean, we teach them how to dominate their area before people even call. They're already in love with them, going, hey, I've seen all your videos online, through your website, through YouTube, on Facebook, some of the Instagrams. We know you're the company. We want you to come in and do this. And that's all online. That's on our YouTube channel. That's it's in the back everywhere. But Anthony, what do you think? 97% of the contractors aren't going to do it.
You know what? And that was
going to be my question. Like, how are you identifying and refining your ideal client or your ideal contractor?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, for me personally, I'm looking for somebody who has a tremendous amount of experience. I would say at least 10 years. Obviously owns their own machinery. I look at their portfolio in advance. If I can talk to some previous customers, that's amazing. And usually, like, the conversation is like 2-3 hours at like a restaurant or something. Like, I took a guy out for dinner last week and we got to know each other, and the ideal contractor is good at the job, is willing to work for the rates, is somebody who isn't super busy. And as you said, Brian, 90% of these guys aren't going to do all those things, because what you mentioned is like literally 5 different trades and skills, right? Like, I've been in business and management and sales and acquisition my whole life. Could I learn to stand? Absolutely. But I don't need to, and I want to. Another thing that you're, something to point out, you're a very good talker, Brian. Very good. A lot of the guys that I work with
and I'm handsome, Jacob. That helps.
Absolutely. A lot of the guys that I talk with are immigrants.
Yeah.
Right. And
this book this book is being translated into Spanish right now.
You got it, right? So you know what I'm saying? If I talk to my boy, Jose or whoever, right? Yeah. He's like, listen, you sell job, I do job. Done. Yeah. And they're happy. And these guys right now, and we're trying to fix the problem of they are getting referrals from apartment buildings where they're working for $4 a square foot when market is 6 to 7. But so he's working for that for them. And if he can come work for us for the same amount, but we're loading up his calendar, right? And there's always opportunity to make money and bonuses per job and things of that nature. We're looking for guys who want to build. That's the main thing for me, is my ideal contractor doesn't want to sand. He wants to train, because I do not want to have 7 subcontractors where I'm calling up, oh, hey, how's your schedule? What are you doing? I want to have a guy who's like, holy shit, your guys' model is incredible. I'm making more money than I've ever made. I'll go buy another sander. Sure, let's get 2 more going. I'll train these guys, because if you can't find contractors, we're going to create them. So if you want to be a part of that, let's get it going, right? So that's what happened in Vancouver with Walter. Guy is 6 crews now, making a crazy amount of money per month, and he doesn't even touch a sander anymore. So these guys who are getting older, because in my local area, we've got 50 to 75-year sanders and a population of about 1.5 million. Greater area. It's one of the best places, according to our marketing, in the world, actually, right now, with Furby sanding, is my local area. And Some of these guys are booked up until October. Some of these guys don't have a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's a huge divide, right? We're trying to bridge that divide, and we'll collect all the work. Give us all the leads. I'll compete against any company and win a job. And then the guys who want to work with us, they're going to get that opportunity. And because they're willing to grow, they can train 2, 3, 4, 5 crews. And these guys who are 30 years into the business and 60 years old who don't want to get on their hands and knees anymore, you don't have to retire. Let's just change your skill set to something else. That's our end goal. Let's find these guys who have put their work in. They are experts. They can look at a piece of wood and say, that's walnut, that's maple, that's poplar. They can train the kids how to do it, keep them loyal, and pay them well. And then they are making money off of, here's what we're giving you. You pay those kids, 25, 30-year-olds, whoever, to train them up, $300 a day, whatever it is, way more than they're going to make anywhere else. So now they're making more money than they could make at the grocery store as a 25, 30-year-old who's now being trained up. The guy who brought them in is making way more money than he would because he has 6 crews running at once. So everyone's making money, and we're giving an opportunity that we don't really see out there right now. And to be fair, we're not stopping at doing this at Refinishing. We're going to build this system with so many other businesses, landscaping, garage flooring, epoxy. We want to create this opportunity for everybody because I know that Caesar's life has been changed forever. Walter can attest that. I know that Walter's life's been changed forever. I know that my life is on the path to being changed forever. And we're doing it in a way that these customers are getting something they're not getting with the existing contractors. Guys show up to the house, they measure, they say, okay, I send you estimate. They don't explain anything. They don't show them videos. They don't show them a portfolio. They don't give them the time of day, and they're not winning the business. And then they'll call us back if we were selling them leads and say, your leads suck. And the reality is you suck, and it's not your fault because my job is to be good at something you're not. And that's where we're bridging this gap that no one seems to see or I see exists. And you do, Brian, because you're going to have 10% of those contractors who are actually good salespeople but never knew it, who are actually capable of running a CRM and running, their own back-end office and all that things, who are capable of running their taxes. They're a unicorn, right? I'm looking to create unicorns, guys who have amazing opportunity if they can see what it is that we're, on our side of the fence. Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
It does. I mean, I'm glad you guys are doing it. I've had a lot of people ask me to do it, and I don't want. I'm older now. I don't want to do the work. I mean, because what you're doing is a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Thank you so much. It is, and we're just getting started. And
I'll teach the contractors how to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But I beg them to do it. It's the only way to financial freedom. My whole idea is if you have to be there, it's not a business. It's a fucking job. You work for yourself, and working for you sucks. That's why the name of the book is You Mastered Your Trade. Now master the business. You have to master the business. You have to want more. And if you don't, go get a job. Your life is going to be a lot easier by going and get a job, clock out at the end of the day, and go home and don't worry about the business aspect of it. Anthony, what you want to say?
No, I was just curious. The name of your company is One Day Finishing, and so
Refinishing.
What is Refinishing? One Day Refinishing. What is? Yeah. So I'm a client looking to have my floor refinished. So
wait. So real quick, and Anthony's a general contractor that has offices in like 4 different states. So he's not a flooring guy. He's a GC.
No worries.
We don't like him anyway. Go ahead, Anthony.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like the clients who are actually looking for the services you're providing. I'm just kind of curious, run me through what that looks like, that process.
Sure. So somebody would reach out for me, for example, they would come through our portal, Craft Strong Marketing, come to my email. I would call them up and I would say, hey, and I feel like you're asking, why is it called One Day Refinishing? And I'm going to answer that because
that's part of it too. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. No problem. One Day Refinishing is called One Day Refinishing because if they want to do a buff coat, a stain correction, anything that takes 1 day, we specialize at that. If someone wants to do sanding, it's not going to be 1 day. So anything that's sandless can be done in a day. And we do a lot of that work. Now to further answer your question. Sorry, go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, I just wanted to put a sense in the issue, saying that there are options when, as you understand, we just buff the floor. We're not sending it down to the bare wood, and
so like Mr. Sandless.
Yeah, Mr. Sandless.
Mr. Sandless.
We're kind of aware of them.
Hey, Walter, is that how you guys started? Was the screen and coats?
No, not at all. Actually, me and Caesar, we were, looking at the options. Like, have an interesting case happen. I had a customer. She was referred to us, and she had literally 2 days to prepare her property for sale because she said, like, you've got today and you've got tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Then my agent comes to do the pictures. We cannot delay. We're in rush. I'm looking at their floor. It's on-site finished red oak, 2 1/4, 3/4 inch thick, solid product, pretty, okay. It was stained dark, like ebony, like that type of, dark stain. And especially with that type of the stain, you can see wear and tear, like fairly, outstanding, I would say. So I started to think, okay, so what if we not send it down because we want time? It's like close to 1,200 square feet, anyways. That would take like at least like 3-4 days to stain it all properly and finish, So okay, let's do this. Let's do stain correction. No one knew what was that, but I picked it up from a few guys who I knew from detailing business, and they were telling me about paint correction on the cars. And I was thinking that's an interesting idea. Like if they can do that with metal, we can probably the same with wood. So that's what we did. We buffed the floor with 120 grit, 120 to 180. Then did application of ebony stain. We made sure that it was stained before ebony. So anywhere where we exposed the wood and cleaned that up, the stain would penetrate, and we made it, look renewed, refreshed, better, nice, okay, perfect. And as soon as it was dry, it put 2 coats of water-based finish on top of that, Bona Mega 1. That's it. The floor looked renewed, refreshed, much better, no wear and tear marks, none of that stuff. Of course, you cannot avoid like high heel marks or some deeper gouges, but you gotta have a like very detailed and careful look at those. But other than that, the floor turned out to be almost like brand new. Everyone was happy, and the house was sold like following week, I think. So everyone was happy, and we're like, okay, perfect, it works. So we did it within about a day and a half, and that's what we were thinking. Okay, well, we can call it 1-day refinishing. It's not a full sanding job, yes. And answering question like, what if your client asking how come you're called 1 day and you don't do it within 1 day? We've got options, right? We do a stain correction and recoating with 1 day. But if we talk about full sanding, of course, we need a little like extra time for that because we want to do this job in accordance with the industry standards.
Sure. Yeah, because I don't know, like everybody that I know that's in hardwood flooring, we do all aspects of that. For us, that's like $350 a square foot. And then if they need a real finishing job, it's like, $675 a square foot. And if they need stain, it's $875 or $9 and up, depending on what it is. So but we go in, and that's like, but I work with all contractors and you have to know your trade. But if I'm working with flooring guys, it's everything is about educating the homeowner. So I get the name of 1-day refinishing, just like Mr. Sandless.
Educating, Brian. Sorry, educating and entertaining. It's also important. You got to make them laugh, man. I'm telling you, 70% of my deals are done over a laugh versus a signature.
Yeah, I couldn't not make them laugh. I'm an ex stand-up comedy. Sunset Boulevard Comedy Store, Ice House, Pasadena.
You're also extremely modest, so I appreciate that.
Not even a little bit. I worked way too hard to get where I'm at to be modest.
Walter, what? I'm just curious. Like, so what is?
Hey, Walter, is your first language French?
My first language is Russian.
What I wanted to say, and
oh man, good for you.
Like, so what is?
Hey, Walter, is your first language French? Oh man, what the heck is that?
my first language is
You're having some. Yeah, there you go.
Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead, Anthony. What'd you say?
No, so I'm curious. Like, so when a contractor signs up with you guys, how does the payment structured for you with them? What does that deal look like? Is it monthly with a per lead thing, or like?
No, it's. Yeah, so everything is we, like I said, so I'll explain. If you ask the question, let me explain the whole process front to back for you. So when the lead comes into me, I'll call the lead. I'll say, hey, it's Jacob from 1-day refinishing. Thanks for reaching out. How can I help you? They're going to answer the blah, 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 whatever. I set up an estimate with them. I go to their house. I answer all the questions. I close the deal. I show them the whole process front to back. And I say, this is the guy that's going to be doing your job. He's been in the business. I make them sound really good because they are really good. 30 years in the business, blah, blah, blah. And they try to understand the process and say, well, hey, listen, we're kind of the middlemen. We have acquired some of the best people in the industry to work with us. And we've noticed that there's a gap, blah, blah, blah. We explain it to the customer. In terms of payments, on my estimate, it's going to say 1 day refinishing, and then it's going to say have a dash or a slash or whatever, the name of the company. That we take our profit usually in the deposit initially, or we try to, and the extra money is for the contractor at the end. So we actually never touch their check. So the check, it'll say on the side of our estimate, payable to, or their e-transfer link, their check, whatever it's going to be. And then they collect their money at the end of the agreement, as they will with anyone else. But the contractor is well aware and the customer is well aware of the agreement. And it's agreed upon, signatured, signed, everything is good to go. So we don't touch their money ever. We make sure that everybody understands that, because I've talked to hundreds of guys at this point that are like, man, I got screwed because of this. And I said, well, great, because we actually don't do that. It's right in your name. It's right on the estimate. The contractor is aware and the homeowner is aware of how our system works. And we're very proud of that. So guys get paid and it never touches our hands.
Hey, I had one guy reach out to me over the week when I announced that I was going to be talking with you guys. And so maybe you do this also. Maybe you're moving into what you're talking about right now. But he said that he's paying you guys $800 a month, and he's getting probably, I don't know, 12 to 15 leads. I don't know if that's a month or whatever or something. But
let me
so
Matt.
It is a monthly subscription, or is it?
No. So I want to. This is the thing. We have about 20 locations set up that way that I am currently in the process of switching over. So you were asking the question of how is this going to work? Well, contractors that sign up with us, they are going to know based off of this podcast or meeting me. I'm going to be setting up everything. Okay, I'm going to hire the salesperson for them. I'm going to train them. I'm going to be the one to go through and take care of all that. And I'm going to set up the contractor relationships for the salesperson. So if someone reached out to us and said, hey, I'm in Las Vegas, I want to work with you guys. I say, fantastic. I'm going to go run an Indeed ad on Las Vegas Indeed or whatever. I'm going to find the salesperson that works under our umbrella, train them, make sure they know what they're doing. They get a really fair profit split as well. And then they're going to be the ones selling the leads for that contractor. So I'm going to set up the whole process for them.
I like it.
I do everything.
Yeah. With that being said, gentlemen, we can say that anyone who is interested in working as a sales representative can join us. Anyone who is interested in doing strictly labor, finishing and sending and running the tools, they're also welcome to join us. And we always find a way to in a similar direction.
Yeah, I mean, because my daughter's doing her own company right now. I mean, and she's doing just like you do, Jacob. She just, she answers the phone. She does, most of it sold over the phone just by, because she's talking to them. She goes out, she meets with them. She manages. She has the history of like, I grew up in Wood Floor. My dad, blah, blah, blah. And then she's got a couple of crews that are on payroll, and she's got a couple of crews that, subcontract from us. And I told her she could open locations wherever she wanted, as many as she wanted. Just depends on how hard you want to work.
Absolutely. So we're in that process right now, that transition. So after Walter hired me, he's like, this model works. Like, he's making a lot of really good money off of my efforts. Then the decision was, and the conversation was, okay, how do we scale this? Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take all the people that guy was paying $100 a month. If he's not, whether he's listening to this or not, if he's not good at the sales, I'm going to be meeting with these guys and I'm going to say, okay, show me your pipeline. Show me how many leads you got. Show me how you closed. Okay. You've closed 5%. Evidently, we're going to be going in a different direction and hiring a salesperson for this location. However, since you were working with Walter and buying leads, obviously you are an installer. We would love to work with you. Please give us your price list, and we're going to transition into having a salesperson for you and explain it to them that you're angry because you don't have work right now, or you do have work. We're going to get you more work. So maybe you take a little bit of a pay cut. If it was $6 a square foot and we're going to pay you $4 a square foot, but if I get you 3 jobs in a week at $4 and you only have 1 weekend at $6, that's a bigger number. Right? 12 versus 6. So that's the direction we're going into, is hiring partners in every city in Canada and the United States as quickly and as efficiently as we can. They're all going to be trained up by me and by Walter, where I'm gonna make sure that they have work. I'm going to make sure they have a good salesperson and that they are in a better place than they are now.
Hey Walter, or hey Lewis, are you there?
Luis, yeah.
Luis. Hey, Luis, see if you can turn that volume down or something.
Luis, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Luis, see if you can turn that.
You're watching on two different things or something. There's a lot of reverb and it's very confusing.
Yeah, but anyway, so how you guys getting the leads? Like if you're in Vegas or anywhere, are you just running Google Ads? Or are you setting up your own?
Can we let Luis, add a little bit, because Luis is a really good example of successful partnership based on the partnership.
Luis, you've got to turn off one of your devices because it'll echo if you use two devices. Luis, you've got to turn off one of your devices because
That sounds better. Say something, Luis.
No, he's muted.
He did it himself. Unmute yourself, Luis. Luis, unmute yourself.
I don't think he has a microphone on that other device.
Yeah, I don't know.
So how are you guys getting the ads? Are you setting up Google? Like, do you have One Day Refinishing Google My Business profiles in every city that you're moving into? Or are you running ads in all the cities? You have like you're running your own website and then just meeting the people?
The infrastructure is being built out in any area that we want to work into. Yeah. And then additionally to that, depending on once we find a solid salesperson, we'll start running SEO. We're going to start building up the website SEO, PPC. We'll do TikTok, Google, whatever it takes, Kijiji, wherever we can pull leads from. Once we've acquired that good quality salesperson and that good quality finisher, and we're confident that the clients are going to get the work done in a timely manner, and the salesperson can handle the amount of leads, we're going in every direction we can.
Yeah, I got you. So if a contractor wanted to get started with you, what's his upfront cost?
Zero. For now, $0. So if someone wants to get started with us, they reach out to Walter and myself, whatever, we can provide our details, and they say, hey, listen, I want to get jobs sold. We will find them a salesperson in their area. It may not be right away. Maybe it'll be a month from now, but we're going to put them on our little docket of, hey, this is something we have a responsibility to take care of, when we have the time to do so. Build them an entire infrastructure. They're going to get to attach all our systems, CRM if they want to use it, whatever. We're building up many systems to make this super easy for people. And then we are going to be the ones who take care of the acquisition. I will hire the salesperson. I will train them to do everything that I'm doing. And just so you guys understand, if any contractor here, is curious, I'm closing about 75% in person right now. So I'd like to think I know what I'm doing. We're only getting started. And to be frank with you, in Edmonton, me and Walter are holding back on how much we could spend. Our ad spend is like 30% of what it actually could do, where there's that point where you can't get any more leads, because I need to get good, solid work in here. And this can be the same issue we run into anywhere. The main problem for us is not going to be selling the jobs. I could train a guy off the street to sell this stuff, as long as he's willing to listen to me. My main problem is I need good quality refinishers like Luis, who are here to work. They're ready to go, and they're in a position where they can handle the work, and they are actually going to make sure they get it done.
Well, no, because even for what I do, and that's like if I was going to, I could open up in any city, only wood floors, and it would be open within a couple of days. I could just, it wouldn't take long because everything's already there. I would just need the contractors who say they want to be our subcontractors to do the work. And then I'd have to interview them, make sure they know what they're doing, all of that stuff. If I was going to do that.
It's hard, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not. But the contractors that come to me and ask for my help in the whole sphere of dominate your trade, if 50 contractors come to me, I usually only work with one of them, because the other 49, once they hear what I want out of them, they're not willing to do it. Because, I'm like, hey, it's a lot of freaking work. So that whole zero upfront cost, you're going to have to change that. Maybe not. It's just that, like, to move into a city, because Indeed ads and stuff, because that guy
profit split. Like, we actually make quite a bit of money off of doing it this way. Like, it's very fair. So
but it's just hard to find somebody. They can say they want to do it and they're going to do all that shit, and then once you get them to work, they don't do the other. It's like, and now you're stuck going, what the fuck?
I'll disagree with you, man. If I had that problem, I'd be happy. I have the opposite issue right now. I called 55 contractors in Edmonton. I had 45 of them basically tell me to get fucked in the nicest way possible. And I have a list of probably 2 or 3 guys that I'm going to start building relationships with. Because most people are like, I'm so good. I've been doing this 30 years. I don't stand for less than $5 a square foot. I said, well, buddy, listen, I've been doing this for 15 years. Okay.
No,
and I know.
Yeah, but that's what I just said. The hardest part is going to be getting the guys to do the work in the city. I mean, I can't even get the guys who do it. I can't even get the guys to do the work that are all. I mean, that are just calling me up asking for help. Hey, Louis, go ahead.
Let's hear from Luis, man. Luis, how long have you been working with One Day Refinishing? What's been your experience, man? How'd you get here today?
Hey guys, sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, now we got
great.
you.
Yeah,
perfect.
okay,
We're
sorry.
not
I was
gonna
just
let you go
getting
now.
home and yeah. Well, I've been I think I met Walter about I would say August or November.
It was a year ago. Last June,
Oh yeah, I think
right?
it was last summer. Yeah, last summer by July. Yeah. So, I think, after we started working together, I was able to, get more customers, more clients. And, now I'm able to, have other guys do the work for me and kind of do the ones I want to do. And then, other than that, just manage and, talk to the homeowners but pretty much oversee the whole operation as guarantee the quality of the labor and pretty much I would say everything. Yeah.
So Luis, do you mind if I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, what's up?
So I just noticed that, I mean, these guys are obviously keeping you busy. So I'm just curious what the next step looks like for you, because I see you driving around with 2 phones hanging out your ear. When are you going to hire somebody to take your job?
Well, so this is what I do, okay? And I love doing it. Like it's just like I feel like once I get on my truck and I start doing this all around the city, that's something that I was able to do with One Day Refinishing. And once I pull up to the homeowners, or to the customer, whoever I'm meeting, once they know that I come from One Day Refinishing, they just like, I will say that they just kind of know that I'm gonna get the job done right. Yeah, that's what I can perceive.
It sounds like to them you're well represented by these guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. No, I guess my curiosity though is like how long, and this is aside from the fact, like aside from One Day Refinishing, eventually you're going to hit a brick wall and a glass ceiling with how many jobs you can manage. Like you're a project manager right now.
Not really, because I'm doing like commercial painting with the leads that I got from Walter, and like that those jobs get done with I subcontract them. The guys have crews, they manage the crews, and I'm really just talking to the homeowners or the guys that want me to get that job done for them. But
sure,
at the same time, I don't have that responsibility to be out there, like let's say painting, and and I'm able to focus on other things. Like so, today, I definitely decide to go and work, but it's not necessarily that I have to. I can just manage and.
Jacob, I guess maybe my question should be geared more towards you because
I get where you're coming from. No, I 100% appreciate where you're coming from. First off, I wanted to answer Ryan's question. He's very in tune, so I appreciate that, Ryan. How long does it start to work with us? Well, I would say that if you reach out to us, if we are building in that area, I would say we can have leads running within like a few days, but it probably would take me, if someone reached out and said, hey, we want to build an area with you, we would tell from the time we say we're working on it to when it's done, probably between 3 weeks and a month, because I want to make sure I hire a quality salesperson. I want to make sure that everything is done, built out. We have all the systems and CRMs, and as that gets better. To answer your question as to what you're asking, Louise, I think that Louise will step back when he can make enough money that he could pay someone a good amount of money and have to step back. So right now he's making about 15,000 to 18,000 US a month, give or take, and that's going to expand. If it gets to the point where he's making 30 or 40,000 a month and he's absolutely swamped, a good project manager is going to be 8 to 10,000 a month, someone you can actually trust. So once he gets to that income level, maybe that's something he'll pursue. but he's in the middle of the weeds right now. He just bought himself a new truck. He's living his best life. You know, coming from making $3,800 a month or whatever it was to making $18,000 a month and literally doing less work. You know, he's on cloud 9 right now. So he's probably going to enjoy that for maybe the next 6 months to a year, see where things go. And something else that we haven't mentioned is I did say that we're expanding into other things, but you know, if Luis is in commercial painting, Walter, we'll start a commercial painting business, base it off Luis, see if it works, and then we'll scale it across Canada. We're going to do the same thing with carpet. We're going to do the same thing with vinyl, you know, with actual installing hardwood. So if the leads run out in one area, but a contractor can do more, we'll base the business that we're building off of what their needs are. Because contractor arbitrage is something, you know, that we can do, right? So does that answer your question efficiently?
Yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, I guess the question is you know, admittedly leading the witness, because a moment ago you were saying like, hey, I'm having this problem. This is the problem I'm having in my company. And if I could just have one good guy, ultimately, I kind of look at it like the reason why he's not making that 30 to 40 mark is because he's still running all his projects, right? Because you guys are obviously doing great things for him. And
it's the pipeline. So he just started making this money because usually takes, I would say you can make some sales pretty quickly, but I've got like 30 or 40 people that will probably get back to me in 2 to 3 months at the end of the fall. Sure. And then I'll be like, holy crap, what am I going to do with myself? So I would say that, go ahead, Walter. Oh no, it's Luis. Luis, can you mute?
Yeah, he did.
Thanks. Okay, yeah. So in terms of that, you know, once we have everything kind of set up and established and that sort of thing, you know, it's definitely doable to you know, kind of go in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to naysay anything here. I'm just looking at it like, I mean, ultimately, I got to say, I'm kind of impressed. I'm a little surprised with your guys' system. I did not expect you to have your poop in such a group. So I think what you're doing is great. I think it's great.
I would like to add a little something here. As soon as we started developing it and working with independent contractors, who are, as we know, 90% of independent guys who just work by themselves and whatever, we figured that they don't have really any developed plan for their business, and they don't really treat it as a business. They treat it as I said, just like sending gigs here and there. But when we come up, like Luis, we showed him the development plan, like how we're increasing the demand, how we're increasing the amount of crews that are working with us, and what we having in the end of each new cycle. So we start, let's say, slow. We can start like, ideally we start with about 30 leads. We're looking at, roughly speaking, 40% conversion. It's like the best case scenario.
Walter, use me as an example.
Yeah, well, I wanted to kind of get to you. So we start slow, and then we keep the gear rolling, and we're good to get to the point when we obtain like over 60, 80 leads, and with a quality approach and about, like, as I said, 35 to 40% conversion rate, we're looking at, ideally speaking, like over 25, usually 28, sometimes like 33, 35,000 in profit from all of that.
Where are you guys finding? Where are you guys finding? Just out of curiosity, where are you guys finding the biggest click to conversion rate from? What platform?
I gotta say that I'm not the only one who's cooking all this stuff, along with Jacob and Luis. I've got the whole team behind my back who's helping me building all that stuff. And what is the biggest advantage of my work? Yeah, what is the biggest advantage of my work?
What I'm really asking is, like, are you getting the biggest ROI from Facebook or from Google?
I'll answer your question. So I've been with the company a pretty short amount of time, but from Facebook to Google, we just launched Google in Edmonton. I'm getting less leads, but the quality is so high that I went to 5 and I've closed 5. So yeah. PPC is definitely where we're getting the highest quality conversion from currently.
Yeah, I teach contractors. It takes about 25 Facebook leads to equal 1 Google ad leads.
Yeah. And then obviously once we build our organic, we have really good organic presence as well. And once we get that kind of situated and dialed in, it'll just be a machine.
And explain organic.
SEO. search engine optimization. So you have two different variations of Google. You've got where your website ranks. So if someone hits my keywords and they say refinishing Edmonton, if we pop up at the top, then we have the #1 organic rank. Whereas when you do a paid ad, that goes above the organic. So usually when you go on Google right now and you go in incognito mode, you search something, it's going to have ad, sponsored ad, and then whoever is underneath of that or whoever is underneath the map is the #1 SEO ranked. And they have a good chance of obtaining that business because usually people look at 3. They'll click on 2, they look at 3. That's in my experience.
That's man, to rank a new website SEO wise is almost impossible.
6 to 8 months, we can have some in the top 2 to 3 spots, depending on the area.
Yeah, maybe that part I would call you bullshit on 100%. Maybe Google Maps, because that's all we do is Google Maps. I can get someone in the top 3 of Google Maps, but to rank a website in 6 months is going to be, unless you're, it's real hard. It's going to be Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack, everything. So I want the company in Google's Maps in the top 3, or they add Google Map, to spend the money to rank underneath Thumbtack, Angie's List, Home Advisor.
No. We're specifically talking about Google here. Let me make that clear. We want to rank on Google. Those other, and a lot of things you're talking about don't even apply in Canada.
I'm talking Google too.
Those things come up before your ad, unless you're spending $10 million a month, like Home Advisor is. Those things are going to come up first, and then you're going to have Google Maps. Then you're going to have your first ranking.
Well, perhaps. Well, if I go right now and I went on my computer and I searched in incognito mode and I said Edmonton refinishing, it's going to have ad, Google Map, then the companies. Sure. Then the companies right under. So right on under the Google Map. I get what you're saying, though. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's always going to be ad. It's usually 2 to 3 ads, and then Google Maps, and then inside Google Maps is probably going to be the 3 top companies, and it's actually going to be 4 if someone's spending the money, because it'll be ad and then business and the top 3 businesses.
Yeah.
So I want my contractors to have ad inside Google Maps, and then be the top one underneath the ad because they're organically in Google Maps.
Yeah.
If you're getting 5 out of 5, though, it sounds like you're doing a really good job of pre-qualifying those leads on your website as well. That's where you're funneling those ads.
True. Yeah. That's what we worked on for quite a while. Plus, we had a lot of experience from like the flooring industry itself, so we can focus only on better quality leads. How? We like to educate our customers as much as possible before they're willing to submit the request. Yeah. We want them to understand that they gotta go through a little hustle. Maybe they won't have an access to their kitchen for like a certain period of time, but at the same time, we cannot make it sound complicated. We're experts in our field. We know how refinishing works. We are here to help. At the same time, you got to understand that there is a feature, and plus we're done with this procedure for once, and it's a lifetime afterwards. Ideally, we're finished. Your floor will last the extra 10, 15 years without specific maintenance. Everyone is happy about that. Yeah.
And I have some really good tricks that I use on the phone. I can't disclose them because then we wouldn't have a business. But I am really, really good at making sure that I go to someone's house who is ready to spend money. And my goal is to come there and make an agreement and a contract with you. And I'm very honest and upfront about that. And that's why I go to these houses. And it's like, if they like me, if they think I'm good looking, if I have good jokes, my price is there. The value scale tips, it's a sale. So if I got 10 leads, I only go to 5 of them, it's because 5 of them were serious, the other 5 weren't. And I dictated that off of the call. Because some people don't know how much this stuff costs. They're like, they don't know
about sales. Is so many people pitch to unqualified prospects.
Oh man, I was telling Walter in the beginning, I was like, could you imagine if I went to every lead that you guys gave me? Because some people do that. They book them into their calendar. They have 6 to 8 appointments, and it makes it look like, holy shit, I'm going to make all this money. And then you go out, and like 1 of the 8 was even remote. Could you imagine going to someone's house and they're just like, man, I thought this was going to be $500, and you give them an $8,000 quote.
Yeah. Well,
right?
Since you got all those little tricks, because no one's better at it than me, period. 100%. Nobody even comes close. Nobody comes close. Not even a little bit. One, like I said, I didn't finish school. I didn't even get out of 9th grade school, but I'm extremely well at manipulating people's minds and controlling them just through just because of over the years of learning how the brain works. But when the phone rings, the first question, we ask 2 questions right off the bat. Where you at and when do you need it done? They either don't, maybe they didn't fit into our schedule, we're busy, or they're out of our location. Next is they have to send us pictures before the conversation even, but I teach contractors to dominate their industry. They're waiting in line to talk to us. They know immediately what price is going to be. It's $675 for us to come in there, do 6 to 7, to sand it with 6 to 8 grades of sandpaper. We get it tabletop smooth, the whole list. They get an email, and one of the girls in the office is explaining it to them, and they say, look, everything that I'm telling you right now, you've just received the email, so you don't have to try to remember everything I'm telling you. This is what it's going to be. So on average, if you have 1,000 square feet, it's going to cost you $7,000 to have it refinished. If that's not in the and if you need us to come out and look at it, because as soon as you send us a picture, we're going to tell you everything. We're going to tell you more about your house just from a picture of your floor than most homeowners even know. So all of that is within the first 5 minutes, period. And they're already like, no. And as they're telling us their address and what area they're located, and we get the picture, because they're sending the pictures. As soon as we see the picture, they've received 3 to 4 Google YouTube links with a floor just like theirs, in the same area, everything that they want. Oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what we want. That's the same floor that we have. Yeah, that's the color that we've been talking about. All of that stuff, it's all there. But no way am I wasting time driving I'm not even walking across the fucking street to my neighbor's house to give them a price. I'm like, dude, you already know how much it is. I ain't walking over there unless you got a beer. But it takes time. I tell guys that, look, you can't do what I do because you haven't been doing it as long as I've been doing it. You've got to work up to that. You've got to have that online presence. You've got to have the video links. You got to have the video testimonials.
That is why I appreciate what you do for people, but like you said, 90% of them will never be able to do it because you've been.
I didn't say won't be able to do it. They won't do it. They can. They just refuse. They're too lazy. They've gotten comfortable in life for whatever reason.
Potato, tomato. You know what I mean? and the reality is, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not doing what we do, acquisition, business, sales, very mentally taxing, very stressful. And adding that on top of having to worry about the work and this and that other thing and change paces. If you're going and you're doing the work and you get a phone call, you got to take yourself out of that environment entirely to get on that phone. And that's not easy to do for some people. So those are unicorns, right? And that is the exact reason that software and anything to do with engineering are the highest paid sales jobs in the world, because you're looking for a unicorn. Yeah. For software, you're looking for a guy that is extroverted and has a degree in software engineering. That's not easy to find, because usually it's one way or the other.
As a business owner, your job is to replace yourself as quickly as possible. Period.
Yep. Yeah. Of course.
Until you can walk away from it, it's not a business. I'm not saying you have to walk away from it, because you got to have a reason to get up out of bed and do something, whatever that passion is. But you cannot be tied to a job. And this mentality that construction contractors have is, most of them know subconsciously that they're not the smartest egg in the bunch. I know. I didn't even get through 9th grade of high school. I know exactly how dumb I am. So you have to make up for it in other ways. You can educate yourself, especially today with the internet. But man, I think you guys are onto something. I appreciate what you're doing for sure, because I tell guys, like I said, I tell guys all the time, look, man, if you're not going to take the business serious, if you're not going to run it as a business, go get a job. Your life will be a lot easier. And they get pissed off at me because they think I'm talking down to them or punching down to them. But I'm being honest. It's like, look, man, it's too hard to try to do all of it. I mean, you almost can't. Yeah. So, you guys are offering something different. If they don't want to do it, they can just partnership up with you guys. So I like what you said. You're becoming partners with them, I guess.
That's our end. Our end goal is to give people more food on their table at the end of the day. People need to understand they're taking a cut on the amount they're making per square foot, but they're going to have more square foot to do. Yeah. That's really what we're looking for at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's something I always kind of talk about too. It's like, yeah, man, we got this piece of pie here. We got this pie here, and it's cut into 4 pieces. And yeah, it sucks because I'm only going to get 1 piece. But the minute you have 5 pies, now all of a sudden you have, you know what I'm saying?
Or 10 pies.
Exactly. Right. Like the guy who just signed on with me yesterday, he's done. He's booked for the month.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, he was like, oh, I don't want to take a pay cut. I was like, well, what if I can give you work for the next month? Or ask guys flat out sometimes. I'm like, hey, how much money you want to make this month?
Yeah. Well, you're taking a pay cut no matter who you are, whether you
Yeah.
run your own ads, whether you run your own website,
Exactly.
your own Google.
Exactly.
So someone's paying for that. And then if you
Someone's
leave
paying
your
for it.
house and go do the work physically, you're paying
Yep.
yourself because it ain't your money. It's the company's money. The company
Correct.
has to pay you. So everybody's taking a pay cut somewhere.
Everybody's taking a pay. It's
Yeah.
a matter of where you want to take it, right? And
Yeah.
our end goal is to get guys to understand that, and enjoy the model, enjoy the fact that they don't have to worry about it. You know, we have for zero money up front, I'd be willing to entertain the idea in Florida. Okay, Ryan, you can reach out to me or to Walter, and we'll discuss that. Florida is definitely a market that we're interested in. Yeah, because and at the end of the day, you know, the reason we're doing it this way is because there are so many people doing it the other way. Like you said, franchise, this and that, the other thing, you know, and this model can be up and running quickly and everybody is making money. And like I said, we're going to do this for as many industries as we can because we want to make that impact and that difference. And that another thing is if I can get a sales guy to work for me and we have 5 different businesses where we're doing this in, that guy now has a full-time job and he's making way better money than he can make anywhere else. The end goal is to have everybody have their lives changed by having more to do than they know what to do with.
Yeah, my biggest pet peeve is the guys selling leads or running ads for people or just taking their money and running Google ads and they're taking $1,500, $2,000 from these guys, sending them to a website that's shit. Letting them answer the phones, doesn't know it's like, and then they're crying at me like they've spent $8,000 and didn't get one job. And I'm like,
so Brian, that's exactly why we're doing this. You got on this call with Walter because you're like, I hate what you're doing with selling leads. Yeah, we hate it too. So we're changing. We're doing something completely different. We're changing the game. And in order to achieve that, it takes someone like Walter and someone like me. Someone who has the back end, someone who can do all the run the ads, and then someone who can actually acquire them. And then on top of that, that guy, if he's good enough, go and train 100 other people to do it in every province and city and major area with 200,000 more in population all the way across North America.
Hey, Anthony, let me ask you this. Is this all, I mean, because Anthony's a general contractor, but he doesn't swing a hammer anymore and hasn't for a while. But he's just a high paid project manager.
That's what
who hires project managers in different states, different cities. What's the difference between what they're doing and what you do, Anthony? But the subcontractors are, I mean, I don't know, are they subcontractors of their own company and you're just finding them, Anthony? Because it's all underneath, Sunshine Design and Build.
So here's what I would say, man. One of the things that I'd like to say, first of all, Walter and Jacob, I'm actually really impressed with what you got going on. As I essentially do the same thing you do on a smaller level with my company with the marketing. Like I run funnels and stuff. And I capture a lot of things in my net that sometimes are too small that I have to throw back. And lately what I've been doing is selling those leads off to other subcontractors of mine. Like, hey man, this job's too small for me. Here, take this. I want this much. This is how much, this is my cut. Right.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, even if I just make $1,000 on that lead, and they make 3,000 or 4,000, I don't even care because that just paid for that, a lot of ad spend right there.
Yeah, of course.
And so, I mean, ultimately, I've been looking into doing what you're doing. I love the fact that you are not selling leads. You are selling closed jobs, and that's totally different.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hey, Walter,
I think Ryan, I know Ryan is an intelligent, skeptical guy. And if he's interested, I would say you guys you're onto something. So.
Hey, Walter, how old are you?
30.
30?
Yeah.
Man, good for you, brother. What about you, Jacob? 19?
27. I'm 27.
Good for you,
19. Brian,
so you say you've been doing this for 15 years. You said that.
Yeah.
You said this a couple of times. You're like, I've been doing this my whole life, man. I was like, man, how old is this guy? Like,
just a bit of my background. So yeah, I started in like hardcore sales when I was like 12, and then got into really hardcore sales when I was 15, 16, and door knocked. Made $3,000 in a weekend. Completely changed my life. And then started managing a clothing store in high school. I was 17, managing a clothing store, making $50,000 salary. Still thinking about those weekends I was making that $3,000. Went back into water filtration sales with a good company, made $8,000 in a weekend, and then they hired me into a general management position. Found out that they were scamming everybody. Didn't want to be involved in that, and ever since then, I've been running door knocking crews all over Canada. Making quite a bit of money doing door knocking, and then got into the high ticket closing space, working for people like Jordan Belfort, things of that nature, selling their programs. $40,000 program, 10% commission. I ran event teams all over North America as well, in that space where you go to the event and then you sell the program in person. So a lot of experience in training. And that's one of the main reasons I took over this role with Walter, is because when they come in, they're going to have someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. And that's why I'm selling right now, to prove that concept. Like, who is this guy? Well, I'm the guy who made 20 grand last month doing what you're trying to do. Do you want to listen? Or you want to what's going on there?
Hey, because
I do like his confidence, Brian.
I tell guys all the time, I said, man, if you want to learn how to sales, go do
Jacob,
get a sales job knocking on doors for 2 years, and that'll be like 20 years experience.
Change your fucking life.
And I didn't know this until I listened to this Patrick David PBD's interview with Andrew Tate. But Andrew Tate was knocking on doors selling windows.
Everybody, listen. Anybody who's listening to this podcast right now, you want to go make $3 grand tomorrow? Go buy a fucking tankless water filtration system. Knock on a door and say, "Hey, I'll do your windows for $250." Do that at 100 doors. I can guarantee you 10 of them selling, make $2,500 cash. The only actual cost and acquisition to that is you have guys you have to train and pay $200 to $300 a day to do the work. $2,500 in profit, $350 on the gross. You make $2,000. You didn't touch a fucking wand. You're home by 7 o'clock. There's a business for you. And that's door knocking. And then you take that skill set and put it into any business in the world, and you're murdering it. And I'm telling you right now, me and Walter are going to listen. If there's a guy, when I call an area, I'll tell you right now, we have a beef with Winnipeg. Walter called a guy in Winnipeg, told him to fuck off. He said, "Jacob, Winnipeg's next." We will walk into an area and we will change the course of the pricing forever. There's a guy in Saskatchewan, in Saskatoon or Regina, who pissed off Walter. This guy's charging $9 a square foot. We're gonna walk in there, we're gonna train a guy, and we're gonna get the price of the whole market in the area down to $7 a square foot, because that guy's not gonna know what hit him, and then all of a sudden he's not gonna have work because you were rude when we were just trying to give you an opportunity for business. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
I mean, I hope so. I think the biggest challenge is going to be finding the contractors that want to do the work.
Yep. So if a lot of them come through the show, then our issue is kind of solved. That's why we came on in the first place. But additionally to that, I agree with you entirely. It's going to take time to build those relationships. That is why this is going to be a slow burn. We could run and gun this and probably make a few $1 million each, and then the whole situation falls apart in a year. We're going to take the time. We're going to build it slow. We're going to say, hey, okay, we built a city. It's making 10 grand a month in profit. Let's move on to the next one. I'll fly. If I have to fly somewhere to meet guys, I'll set up a whole Sunday afternoon with 4 contractors in Texas. I'll fly there and I will meet them and make sure that things are done. And I'll make sure that their jobs are good or whatever. And then I can find a salesperson to partner with them. And then everybody's making money. It absolutely is an incredible and amazing model. And I agree with you coming from. It is going to take time. That is why I'm on it, because I've got a lot of experience talking to contractors and calling them out of their bullshit and just making them understand what it is.
Yeah, and you're 27, so you got time. I think, Anthony, don't you use Indeed, or do you use which one do you use?
Indeed. I use Indeed for hiring project
recruiter.
Yeah.
All those things, right?
Yeah. If we talk about actual contractors or finishers who do the work, I gotta say that most of the time we're on the same page. Most of them don't buy the COVID stuff, for example. They don't buy this new agenda that is being pushed down on ourselves. So after 10 minutes over the phone, 15 minutes over the phone conversation, we find common ground one way or another, because we're in the same boat, we're in the same situation. Giant shit sandwich, right? Even
if someone doesn't want to work with us, they respect us. Yeah. At the very least, right? And there of the 10 phone calls, and if someone says I don't want to meet with you, I said, listen, I'll buy you dinner. You get a free dinner. I'll buy your wife a dinner too. She wants to come, or you bring it home to her. Yeah. Sit down and listen to me. Give me the respect and the time of hearing me out. Worst case scenario, you know who's taking all the business from you, because it's going to happen. So wouldn't you like to know where it's going? And 2, you get a free dinner, right? So just be open to that concept, and you might learn a thing or two.
Yeah. Hey, so we'll jump on the subject real quick, but since I got Walter on here, Walter, you speak Russian as your first language. Are you from Russia?
Yeah, I was born in Russia, at the very, very far east area that is very close to Japan.
Okay, cool. So bear with me for a second and just disagree with me, argue with me, tell me anything you want to tell me. I don't care. But hey, I'm a huge Putin fan. I mean, maybe as a human, if he kills people and does all this other bad shit, maybe that part we disagree with a little bit. But as what I mean, I just think that I wish we had someone in America running our country the way he's trying to see it looks like he's trying to do what's best for Russia. He's trying to do. It doesn't look like he's trying to line his pockets. And here in America, we got too many politicians trying to line their pockets. Am I that far off? I mean, do you hate Putin like everybody else hates him?
I don't hate anyone. I cannot say that I hate anyone. First of all, I'm really into history. Any free time I have, I'm reading. I'm reading a lot about different events from as many perspectives as possible. Because who's writing it down? That one who's benefiting from that. So I try to take
Brandon just like out. He was like screwed
from as many perspectives as possible to see the actual historical line behind that, but not just random facts that are not connected. So thanks to that, I can technically say that there are some hardcore evidences that like Russia was provoked in order like to invade Ukraine, for example. At the same time, I disagree on some stuff as like it's like a little too vulgar, especially nowadays for such intelligent and rich and powerful country as Russia invades small Ukraine. I mean, they could do better, and even Putin himself, he could do better. But I've got a feeling that probably maybe
if I was Putin, I would be doing more and worse. I mean, like I don't know, like from everything that I've read about Ukraine and that whole dude that runs it, I don't know. It's just the media over here portrays him as a little hero, and I think he's a little scammer.
Well, I know people from there. I've got a lot of from there. I'm half Ukrainian, to be completely honest. So about 60% of population got relatives in Ukraine because it used to be the same country back then.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
If you take a look at the historical development of Russia in general, it was a Russian empire that was scattered into Soviet Union. So basically different, like Russian empire became a union of 15 different countries. Then right after the Russia ended up losing Cold War, it's got divided more. Now we have a bunch of countries such as like Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan. They never been a country. There was it never existed before. So probably that's what's up. And at the same time, we've got a new population of people that was raised in Ukraine. I'm not
and I heard too is like I don't know if it was Putin or Russia itself, but has banned like that whole GMO, the food and modification BS stuff.
Cargill, it was banned.
The GMO, 2015, 16 something. But hey, man, because all my American friends listening, because nobody outside the country hears this, but if it wasn't for Russia, we'd all be speaking German. So kiss ass. I mean, America gets the credit for going over and defeating Hitler and all this shit, but it was because Russia, beat them down 80% of the way. If we had to took Germany on full force like Russia did, I don't think we could have beat them. Russia did a lot of work before we got there.
Studies Napoleon and still invades Russia in the winter. Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. it's like because I teach karate, and when the young dudes are going up for black belt, we wear them out for like 4 hours, and then the last fight is between me and them when they're all wore out, and it makes it an easy fight.
I was watching a podcast and it said Russia historically has never has never stopped fighting until they lost 500,000 troops. We are currently at about 100,000. We have a long way to go in this fight, in this battle.
Yeah. So, hey, since you guys are here and stay on with me, but I don't know if you because I know is Jacob touched on it a little bit in the beginning. So I watched all the Andrew Tate stuff forever. I mean, he keeps, they won't let him go because he wants little boys to grow up to be men. And I mean, if you bring your 4-year-old kid to our karate class within the first day, and if he's 4 years old, it's probably like a 20-minute, 30-minute class. But before he leaves, he's got the gloves on and he's getting punched and beat. So he's got to be that part just off the bat. And within the first week, we're putting him in the corner, and 2 other kids are standing in front of him with gloves on. And we say, go. And the 2 kids start beating him. And the whole idea is, look, man, if you're on the playground, if you're at school, you're in the bathroom, life is going to beat you. Bullies are always going to be there beating you. You got to take some punches. You can't just sit down and hope that they give up and stop beating on you, or wait for the teacher to come in there. Take the punches, give some punches, but get out of that corner and run across the room. And so the parents are sitting there with eyes like this going, shit, where did I bring my kid? But there's, and I'm not in the game anymore. I go around and do seminars, but I don't have a full studio. But these kids nowadays, boys mainly, are just being castrated without, and almost like with drugs, they're being castrated, but they're being mentally castrated, not wanting them to teach them to be. And so I like what Andrew Tate's doing. I like what some of these other guys are starting to show up on the scene and do. And that's why I asked why you guys, what your age was, 30, 27. Anthony's getting old. And I'm on the backyard 20. I mean, it's like, I don't have to deal with it like you guys are going to have to deal with it. But I don't know, any input on little boys being mentally castrated and wanting them to wear dresses?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for me, if my son, I've got 3 kids, so if my son just, yeah, thank you. My baby turns 1 and he's a boy in like 2 weeks. So
yeah.
If my son is making decision and choice of free will, I'm gonna dive deep into that with him. So if my son said, hey, I think I am a girl in a boy's body, I'm gonna really dive into that and be like, why do you feel that way? What it is, this, like, where did that come from? Right.
Yeah.
And up to a certain point, I think kids, we should stop worrying about, I'm not agreeing with all these pride parties and stuff for children. I don't agree with any of that.
Yeah.
If you're an adult, you want to make a decision as an adult, you're an adult, go ahead. Yeah. But pushing the agenda on kids so much, I do have a problem with, because they may find, there's people who have got gender reassignment surgeries that regret it entirely. And the parents signed off on it when they were 16 years old, and they're still going through developing their brain at that point. I think
there's a couple of schools here that if the kid mentions it to the teacher, they won't even tell the parents. They just start immediately putting them on,
that doesn't fly with me. And dude, there's a high school in like Nova Scotia where they put a fucking kitty litter in the bathroom for people who identify as animals. Like there's limitations to this shit, right? Obviously. I'm a big believer in my son. He plays with dollhouses and he plays with action figures, and he doesn't know the difference, right? He's 1 year old, right? Yeah. He's playing with toys. He's learning about all sides of things, right? So for me, I'm not going to push anything on my child. I'll let them actively make their decision. And if they ever come to a conclusion on their own, I will then discuss it with them. And if they're happy, I don't give a fuck what they do. You want to paint your head red, but if it's affecting you and you're like, if I think you're suffering from something mentally that's making these decisions for you, that's something that has to be addressed. But I think we sexualize children way too much these days. Way too much.
And way too early.
Way too early, man. Yeah. These kids know things that I didn't know until I was 12. You know what I mean? Right? Like
I'm almost 60. They know things I don't even know yet.
Yeah.
By the way, next time, gentlemen, next time you are in a store or supermarket or whatever, like bend down and have a look what they are looking at, because they're like toddlers, right?
Oh,
Take a look. What?
Bro, I told you this.
Yeah. Wow.
I told Walter this. I said, listen, I learned this the hard way because I'm 6'5". Okay, I'm very tall.
Damn, good for you, Jacob.
Thank you. My kid is like super tall as well. Here's another one that really pissed me off. We don't watch TV. Streaming apps, Netflix, I can stream anything off Soap Today. It just died, rest in peace. But anyways, so the point is, I haven't watched TV in a very long time, probably 10 years. Even when we go to hotels, we don't turn on the TV.
Yeah.
One time I took the kids for a staycation and I watched TV for the first time in a long time. Fucking the amount of advertising that is thrown at these children. They played the same Star Wars lightsaber commercial 15 times in a fucking 4 seconds. I was like, oh my God, man, this has to, where's the regulations?
Yeah.
Where's the regulations? It was the same commercial over and over and over and over and over. And I'm like, how is this legal? So I realized the agenda that they're pushing onto my children when it comes to like the commercialization of everything. But to Walter's point, man, All the junk food, all the Pop-Tarts, all the fucking colorful shit is at about 4 feet high in the grocery store. 4 feet high. I have to lean down to fucking read that shit if I wanted to. And that is crazy to me, right? And there's so many other kind of things that are involved within that, but it's wild to me that there's zero regulations on this kind of thing. Honestly.
Yeah, well, because you being in Canada, I guess you could probably get American TV or something, but America and New Zealand are the only two countries that allow pharmaceutical companies to run commercials, and which is mind-boggling. And that's like, if you do watch television here, it seems like 80% of the commercials are from pharmaceutical drugs. And I don't know about you guys' gun laws. You're in Canada, but I didn't know this. And last week I mentioned it, and Anthony knew about it. Was I guess Sweden has more guns than America per capita. But you know, if you look at the mass shootings that we have here,
it's
almost every one of them. Yeah, almost every one of them. You know, they're on pharmaceutical drugs. Just mind altering, and no one wants to admit or bring that up because the pharmaceutical companies are running everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's a big can of worms, right? And then if you want to look at Trudeau, you can look into my side of things on the fence here. There is a lot of evidence that Trudeau invested into Pfizer very, very, very heavily right before this all took place, and he
got his money back, and then
he made like $12 million apparently, and you can look into it even deeper. But it's astronomically wild. You know what COVID did for me, and I'll admit to it. I had to live my life. I maybe I risked my body. I got some of the shots. I couldn't stop doing what I was doing. I felt like I didn't have a choice. Did I agree with them? And I have a bit of an interesting perspective because my mom is a doctor, and so she's access to some medical information, and she's a part of this group where it's private access, doctors all over the world and in China included. So she was talking to doctors in China about everything, and I don't want to dive too deep into it because I'm sure everyone has differing opinions. But the point is, I don't think that the way they handled things was correct. Do I think there was some sort of virus? Yes. Are there lots of viruses that lots of people don't even know about? Yes. Did they wait way too long to tell everybody that something was going on? Absolutely. Right? Do I think they took advantage of that entire situation and they were trying to figure out how much control can we have over people? It's absolutely insane. He has the money for the world. Anyways, I was trying to read what Ryan said. They took it as a framework of how much control can we have?
Yeah.
How much control? How many days can we tell someone to stay in their house and they'll listen without really having any basis or background? They take full advantage of that situation. Very scary, right? And the reason that COVID was scary for anybody who doesn't really know is because it was the only virus that could mutate in its incubation period since SARS. So that's terrifying. And if you don't know what that means, it basically means that if you get the virus and you give it to me, before it gets to you, it can mutate and it can change. And so the fear was that what if it becomes deadly from this person to this person? And now we have 1 million people die at once and we didn't even know why. So that was the mass panic. That's the reason it happened. And the reason COVID died down is because the Omicron variant got everybody sick, which is a good thing. Once everybody got sick and nobody was, getting the virus anymore, then everything kind of dissipated.
And for me, because I said, just like Andrew said in that interview, and I said it from day one, I didn't believe. I mean, I believe COVID. I mean, I believe there's a flu every year. But I kept saying, like everybody would say, everybody's dying. I'll say, okay, well, in your immediate family at your house, how many people died? Well, nobody. But they're dying. I'll say, okay, but how many of your cousins died? Well, nobody. But on TV, there's no. Like people weren't dying in the streets. People weren't being picked up. Like,
COVID related. COVID related was definitely a term that was used pretty heavily. But I it was definitely over advertised as to what was actually happening. The scary thing was something could have happened, and I think people should have been more educated on that. Hey, the reason we're wearing masks and we're trying to social distance is because we're afraid of this virus because it can change in its incubation period. That should have been talked about more versus everyone's going to die, be afraid.
Jacob,
right.
You're 27. I don't want you to be afraid of anything ever.
I agree.
Especially when it comes to your health. Hey, let me ask you this. So that Professor Peter Hodgson that Joe Rogan is trying to entice to come on and debate Robert Kennedy, and I was never a vaccination dude anyway. I don't pay any attention to that shit. I don't go to doctors. I don't have insurance. None of that shit. None of it. You won't. If someone comes at me with a knife, we're going to be fighting. Yeah, I don't care if I need an operation. but my wife did all the vaccine bullshit for the kids. Like I stay out of it. But so I never like when people were like anti-vaxxers and stuff. I just looked at them as they're crazy or nuts or the whole thing. Until fucking COVID, then I started researching, and then I went, man, some of these anti-vaccine people. They got a legitimate point. I should have looked up. I should have looked into this more, and I didn't. But so this, and I got the tweets here. I did some screenshots. But so this Peter Hotz, MD, whatever his name is, he's goes. Elon is weighing in on it, saying the reason they don't want to debate is because they know they're lying, and so he's telling Elon, seriously, Elon, Americans needlessly perish, including 40,000 Texans, your neighbors, because they were victims of anti-vaccine disinformation, especially during the awful COVID, Delta, BA, one way, all this other stuff. And so Elon responds with, he goes, first of all, I'm genuinely pro-vaccine. I've been vaccinated against pretty much everything, as have all of my kids. Second, I think there's a tremendous promise in synthetic mRNA. It's like medicine going from analog to digital. That said, the world obviously went crazy with the excess vaccination against COVID-19. I have that in quotes because the RNA sequence changed so much that I call it the virus of thesis. So many people I know had serious side effects from the vaccines, including myself. Failure to acknowledge that is a lie. As for the deaths you claim due to COVID-19, why is the nation of Sweden still alive? Just go on Rogan and debate it. And then he had like a little stupid picture that says a little man with all the vaccines in it going, why is he not dead? Why are they still alive? So I don't know. I mean, the whole thing, if you can't talk about something, like we just came on here and talked about what you guys are doing, and we found out that by me looking at the Facebook ads, I was thinking you guys were, selling leads to contractors and just, taking their money and running. And it's totally something different because we had a conversation about it. Whether it's vaccines, whether it's health or insurance, no matter what it is, it's
Dude,
like
it has to be anything. We should be able to fucking have an open conversation. You know what? And I'm far more scared on the fact that, since we're talking about health a little bit here, like the fact that sugar is so widely available to everybody and cocaine isn't, has nothing to do. It's very scary to me because sugar is 16 times more concerning as well as addictive, right?
Yeah.
They just, if they took it away, they would lose money. And so this is all comes back to the exact same spectrum of information availability to who's actually looking up said information. The internet has anything, but if you don't know where to look, you're fucked.
Yeah. That's what I said. Was like if they want you to stay home because they're caring about your health. I'm like, they don't care about your health. If they cared about your health, you wouldn't be getting the sugar, you wouldn't be getting the sodas, you wouldn't be getting the McDonald's, you wouldn't be getting the. It's like they care about the money, they care about the control.
Yeah.
But what was your saying?
And it's.
I was just gonna say the whole thing. The internet weaponized us against ourselves. It was almost like a police state in its perfect realm where we don't need police because we're all policing each other.
Yeah. I want to address Charlie's comment. Let's don't be hating on sugar. There is good sugar. Charlie, let's talk. There's good sugar. Okay, we have cane sugar. We have monk fruit powder, stevia, things that come from extracts of plants. But it's so weird that granulated sugar is the standard because it's man-made. We synthetically created this fucking garbage for people, and they ingest it, and they don't even understand. People are like, "Why am I getting diabetes? Why is my thyroid acting up?" If people took 10 seconds and actually educated themselves on how terrible the crap is that they're putting in our food, it would make you cry. The rule, Charlie, I'll make you a deal. The rule of thumb is you spend 80% of your time on the outside of a grocery store, 20% on the inside. Read the back of your labels, understand what you're getting yourselves into, and do not consume more than 35 to 40 grams of added sugar per every 2 days if you can. It's okay to enjoy something.
And Charlie was supposed to be on here with us. Charlie had a freaking heart attack.
My full sugar Dr. Pepper.
All right, guys. Hey, man, it's been a lot of fun. People know how to reach out to you with the one-day refinishing. I don't know, man. I think about maybe changing I guess you're going to have one day, whatever, because you said you want to do it for other industries. So,
one day roofing. One day garage floor, it's a good name. It works really well. And I'll be honest with you, I've done probably 40 to 50 in-person presentations in the past month. I've had one person ask me about it.
No, yeah, just to reach out. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's like because you're still running ads for selling leads, I think. So I mean,
we're altering and changing that right now. The leads that we're running ads for are going to come to the partners that we partner with. The refinishers are not going to see those anymore. If anyone wants to reach out, it's Edmonton at One Day Refinishing and Vancouver at One Day Refinishing for our emails. And I'm sure I could provide my phone number, but a lot of people are in the United States, so that's kind of useless.
Yeah. So, hey, Walter, thanks for reaching out, man. Because I was
Brian, everybody. No problem. Thank you for inviting. Yeah, great opportunity to share experience. And also what I wanted to add, since you do some training like sales for the guys, for finishers out there, you do understand how it all works. I'd be more than happy to jump on board, from time to time and, do that, either role playing or discuss how we can, deal with those objections that are the most common for, most of the sales. But in our case, we talk about specifically refinishing. That would interesting, share experiences, and if that's going to help someone out there, I'll be more than happy to.
Yeah, and my whole goal with all of this is because construction period just give me a life that I never ever thought I'd have. I was just a really dumb redneck from North Carolina, and construction was working with my hands was a way to make more money, like Jacob said, more than McDonald's was paying me. But then the next step was learning how to do business, and now I'm trying to share it before I pass away with as many contractors as I can to let them know that, because most of them don't want more. And I'm like Anthony says, there's no shame in that game. But if they do, I want them to learn all aspects of business and just to live the life whatever they want. And I think you guys are like I don't want to say middleman, but it's good to be able to partner up with someone like that, because maybe they can't do the sales.
Business acquisition specialist.
Yeah. So
yeah, I want to sum it up. Like, very good point, Brian. You said that you teach how to do business, and that's pretty much what we do with One Day Refinishing. Teach refinishers how to run their business, but not to run their tools. But in case they don't want to do that by whatever reason, and they just want to focus on labor only, we also can help out with that, because we're going to be doing the closing and the business acquisition for them. That's it.
Yeah. Anthony, you want to say anything?
I definitely want to say something. I really I like the business idea. I'd like to actually talk to you guys a little bit further at another point in time. We should connect, because I would like to see, like, I can see how it works with specialized trades, right? I would like to explore some ideas with you on how you could implement that in, like, I'm building large projects. I'm designing building. I have a business model that works very well. And I would be absolutely open to discussing, ultimately you guys are a 1099 sales firm. You know what I'm saying? And business acquisition is a better way of putting it, but I'd be happy.
Sounds good.
I'd be interested in exploring something with you. I mean, if it works out and the idea, makes sense, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I got into, and Walter got into this to help the contractors. I got into it to help the salespeople and the contractors both. And when we came up with the model, and because this came out of nowhere recently, and probably the past month, Walter, we've been cooking up. He was doing, like I said, selling leads and having that all available. And then we started cooking up the idea of the partners per city, because the way that it was working with myself and with him, it's just, it works so good. The money is way better than he was making. And I've trained salespeople. I tapped on a guy's shoulder at Brock University in St. Catharines, Ontario, about 3 years ago. I said, tapped on his shoulder, big bro, like jack dude named Sebastian, one of my best friends to this day. I said, hey man, what are you doing for work this summer? Because I was working for a company where we recruited university students who wanted to work any day of the week, paid cash, aerating lawns. I'll train you, I'll show you how to do it, whatever. And Sebastian, now as a result of that, dropped out of school, paid for everything, and now makes $200,000 a year sealing driveways because we taught him how. So that is the same thing you're trying to do with contractors. Now I get the opportunity to do it with both. I get to pay for someone's way, maybe someone's education for their children, and I get to bring salespeople into the game that either didn't have any experience or do have experience, and their actual cost of what they're going to be making per hour is between $200 to $500 based off of my math and what I've seen so far. It's insane.
At one time, I threw around the idea I was going to move to like every 6 months to different cities, and I would move in and be a partnership with whoever. It'd be their business. We'd sign up the contract where I'd get 15 to 20% of revenue forever from them, but I'd spend 6 months with them and then be a partner, always. But I'd move in and we'd set up all the systems. We do everything. So within 6 months, maybe a year at the most, they'd have a business, and then I'd be able to move on to the next city. But my wife was like, "No, you ain't doing that." So too much time away, and like, but you're doing it from digitally, I guess.
Yeah, remotely, and that was the end goal. That was the end goal for both me and Walter, was we wanted laptop lifestyle, and we wanted it in a way, that was very impactful. Could I go sell fucking products online and drop ship, rip off a whole bunch of people, make them $9 million? Absolutely. I know people have done it. It's not hard to do, especially with my capability, skill set, and the fact that I have the capital. But what we wanted to do is do something impactful where literally, my salespeople, as we grow this business and we have this entity of sales, 25 sales guys across Canada, United States, everyone hits this goal this year. Let's all go to fucking Miami. Let's create this actual, and same thing with the contractors. Contractors are just important to our business, so they're included and equally as important, if not more important, than our salespeople. So everybody gets taken care of when they work with us. Everybody makes more money than anything else they were doing. I could take a guy who works at a phone sales job making 80, 90 grand a year at the mall, and he can come work for me, and I'll give him 10 leads a week. He closes 2 of them. He's making 5, 10 grand a month doing fuck all. Right? So that's the cool thing about it, is I'll take because we have that part-time sales opportunity, which it really is. No matter how busy you are, it's still part-time.
Yeah.
I can take a high quality sales guy who's making a lot of money. He's fully trained. And that's why our model works so well. I don't really have to train anybody. I can train them on how to sell floors. I can train them on everything that I know, but they already have the actual car of sales. I'm just going to add some wheels. Right. And then they're very little training. They're out there. They're killing it, making money. And they're making, like I said, between $200 to $500 an hour for the actual time they have to put into the money they're making. It's a fantastic model. And we're really excited about it.
Yeah. Good luck, guys. Good luck with the kids, the 1-year-old. Walter, are you married? You got kids?
No, not yet. So
no,
Jacob
you and Anthony will be in Vegas partying.
No, we have to get Walter's girlfriend from Russia. It's very important, and we're working very hard for that.
Is that true, Jacob? Are you on the dating site, or is it a real wife?
He has a girlfriend in Russia. We need to immigrate her.
Oh man, that must suck.
A little, yeah, because Canadian government, with the whole agenda with Ukraine recently, they kind of not stopped, but they're delaying visas for Russians out there.
That's frustrating as hell. And when Elon moved from Africa, he went to Russia to Canada with you guys first and went to school there a little bit. He was friggin' digging out shitholes, like literally digging out shitholes and living with his aunt and somebody.
And he turned his house into kind of club or something. I'm not sure if that's true though.
Oh, I don't know. But hey, man, guys, I appreciate it. I'm a little disappointed. I wish you were the digital marketers that we hoped you would be, so we could talk shit and and rag on you. But I mean, it sounds like you're helping. You want
to hear something else, Brian? I'm also going to be contacting all those digital marketers, and I'm going to be taking their leads and selling them and then giving them a profit split. So all these digital marketers are going to disappear because we're going to be taking all their leads on and acquiring the business for the contractors and then paying them a profit split. So it actually, we're going to destroy that entire market. It's going to happen. Watch.
Yeah, because when I help contractors, start dominating their area, it's like they're getting the leads and the home advisors and the Yelps and the thumbtacks, and there's no one left to. They're calling directly to the contractor.
Yep.
All right, guys. Anything?
Jacob, Walter, get a hold of me. I want to talk to you guys later. So look me up.
Sounds good.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.